was her name again? You. Monta Lavana. I definitely never asked you that. Monta Lavana? Yeah. Cool. I'm Anna. You too.
Logs.
Toast.
Morning.
Yo, I thought I was
Morning.
gonna lose a game of pool, and then I got 3 balls in, and then the
Period.
8 ball.
Breathe.
I know. God. Ooh. Oh. Okay. Sometimes you gotta be down in the morning.
You want to know what I ate so far today?
Yeah, what you
A banana and a granola bar. And guess what I'm hungry for? More food. Morning. Okay, shall we? Should we go explore the downstairs?
Morning, Rabbi. How are you? Been like what, 12 hours?
Pardon me?
It's been like what, 12 hours?
You have to wait 12 hours?
No, I said it's been what, 12 hours since you were in the dorm, but I guess it's more like 13.
Anna, you're the first one in the class.
Yes, seems a lot about Mashiach.
Good morning,
Who said that?
Hannah.
Hannah? Okay.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Who said good morning, Rabbi?
Lieberifka.
Oh, Liba. So your names aren't lit up on the screen for some reason, so that's why I have to ask, unless I recognize your voice. What happened to Circa? Did she go away?
I think she wasn't feeling well. I saw her the other day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, maybe Sharon knows. She's downstairs. She lives with her.
Hannah Kovtunenko. Are you on?
Yes, hi.
That's you. Okay. Hi, Menashe. Sarah Abigail Baum. Tova.
Here.
Machshava Tova, my good thought.
Yes.
My good deed. Sharonel. Didn't see you in a long time, dear.
Didn't take Sophie.
That's it. That's our class for today.
Who's it next week? That's will be.
I know. Sorry, I didn't hear. She's okay. She wasn't feeling well for a while, but she's feeling better now. Good. Did you look in the class?
Okay.
She's been, like, playing.
Now, we were learning yesterday, we started off by saying that the place, the residence in your character, in your spiritual makeup is in your heart. The source of your feelings of love of God and fear of God. Excuse me, that's in the right side of the heart. The left side of the heart is the residence of the Yetzer Hara, or the Nefesh Bahamas. What's the difference between Nefesh Bahamas and Yetzer Hara? They're used synonymously. Generally, they mean that's the same thing. It's the bad guy, the one who's going to prevent you from being good. But the difference is the Yetzer Hara refers more to the intellectual part of you, because the Yetzer Hara also has Seichel and Midas. Does the Yetzer Hara have a Yetzer Tov? Does the Yetzer Hara have a Yetzer Hara? Questions to ponder. If those of you who are philosophical in nature might want to think about that. Does the Yetzer Hara have a Yetzer Hara that tries to prevent them from being bad? In other words, we probably want them to be good. Okay, so the Yetzer Hara is the intellectual part, the cunning part of the animal soul, like the fox, cunning like a fox. And The animal soul is more the emotional part of the person. Innate selfish desires. So then it says, and just like your blood goes up to your brain and gives it energy to work and to think and to run the body, so the Yetzer Hara takes the Yetzer Hara also up to the brain. What does it do there? So he says this is why a person who wants something can become very wise about how to get it. Cunning and plan, and like a thief, he will make sure that people do not notice his nefarious activities, the subtle nastiness and selfishness. So that's what it says, that the animal soul goes up with the blood to the brain, where the person will think about his desires and plan. Says on 137, second Hebrew lines, page 137, to think and meditate about his desires and to become cunning in them. Chilling thoughts. And since we are bribed, we don't even notice it. When a person is bribed, he doesn't think straight. There's a saying amongst the Jews who come from Russia. As man schmiert, man führt. When you bribe an official, you get to go places. To schmear is like to spread, to spread butter, margarine, you smear it. So when you smear the hand of the official, and it's such a powerful clipper, there's a story in the Talmud about a very great rabbi, Rabbi Yamai. He was judging a case, and he felt between two litigants, and he felt constantly sympathetic to one of the two. And a judge is not allowed to be sympathetic to either of the litigants. It says in Pirkei Avos, they're supposed to be guilty in your eyes while you're listening to the case. Don't believe either of them. I'll tell you a story about that when we finish this story. I'll tell you another story about it. And since he felt himself constantly being impartial towards one of the litigants, he canceled the case and adjourned till tomorrow, because he realized this is not the way a judge is supposed to behave. That's why he was a great person. Most people don't have such self-control. We allow ourselves to be bribed and to be influenced. And when he left the courthouse, the Beis Din, he discovered that there was some money in the pocket of his coat. One of the litigants had put some money in the coat. And just the fact that the money was there, it influenced the way he was thinking. It's a very powerful force, bribery. And the Yetzer Hara bribes us by offering us all kinds of delights. If you will listen to me, it will be good for you. You'll get what you want. You'll make the profit that you desire. You'll marry the man that you dream about. You'll have the house in the country and the condominium in Florida and the trip to Israel and to Italy and England and France, wherever you want to go, everything is available. Go for it. Come on. Get with the program. That's all bribery. And so we're influenced. It's hard to resist. And that's what it says, that the Yetzer Hara goes with the blood up to the brain to think and meditate and become cunning. in achieving its desires. You sure you want to go with this program? Pretty tough program here. Okay, but we're not going to let him get away with it. We're going to learn Hasidus. And that's going to give us the strength to deal with such a formidable adversary. Page 137, the abode of the divine, the godly soul, is in the head, in the brains, which are in the head. And the brains and the head are over the heart. So the Yetzer Hara has to work up from the heart. But we know in warfare, whoever's in control of the high ground has a distinct advantage. That's the way it works in you, in your physical body. Your head can always rule over your heart. Your heart is powerful, like a locomotive, like a horse. It can pull you, but your brains can rein in the horse. The rider can control the horse. And the rider is in the godly soul, in the brains, in the head. And its influence extends from the head to all the limbs. Page 138. And it comes also into the heart. V'gam b'lev, yes, the Yetzer Tov also comes into the heart. We just said the animal soul's in the heart. Okay, well, the heart has different parts to it. There's the left side of the heart and the right side of the heart. We learned yesterday in the alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet, if the dot is on the left, it's a sin. If the dot is on the right, it's the first letter of God's name, Shalom, peace. Shin. So the right side of the heart, that's where the Yetzer Tov can get into the heart and begin to do its counter-espionage against the Yetzer Hara. And that's what it says, Lev Chacham Liyamine, the heart of a wise person is on the right.
So I was reading a bit about this the other night, actually, but I'm wondering if you can elaborate, like, of this whole idea, and like the question is like, why is our heart on the left?
Oh, that's a good question.
It sort of explains a little bit about it, like in the book, but I can't remember the exact words, but I'm wondering if maybe you have more of an insight.
Just gotta take a sip of water first.
I'm not going to make up an answer. I'll get you an answer.
Sounds good.
When you have weeds in your garden, you have to pull them up by the roots. That's what I would suggest to you. We're just going to be totally on the right, then the left is not going to get tended to. When you lift up a heavy thing, you have to bend down low, get under it, and lift it up from the bottom. We're going to convert the Yetzer Hara into a Yetzer Tov. We have to get right down to the bottom of it. That might be the answer. Similar to that, excuse me, I'm sorry for all this noise. This is just my first cup. So.
Rabbi, I bring my French press to school, so if you need fresh coffee, I got you.
Okay, freshly ground.
I have a coffee grinder downstairs.
You know, the guy went to the restaurant and said, waiter, this coffee tastes like mud. He says, well, it was just ground this morning.
Nice.
That's a joke they told when I was a kid.
It was like 5 years ago, right?
More than that. V'hi avos Hashem, the effect of the godly soul entering the right side of the heart is to awaken the feelings in the heart that belong only in the heart. They don't belong anywhere else in your body. Feelings of love and fear, love of God and fear of God. And love of God manifests itself as a fiery love, Kadish Bishal Heves, like a flaming fire in the heart. As we described yesterday, we reviewed the whole concept of chapter 3. We spent some time on it, reviewing how do you kindle that flame of love in the right side of your heart. And the answer is by thinking about godly topics. And what are the godly topics you think about? You think about the greatness of Hashem. How do you do that? By looking around you at the world that we experience and seeing that it didn't come about by itself, out of nothing. It's not random at all. How does a spider know to make its web? How do birds know how to navigate? How does water know to run downhill? How do the crocuses know when to push up just because the temperature changes a couple of degrees, to push up through the earth? Nothing is random. So therefore, when we see the order in everything, like when you learn Rambam, when you see the orderliness of a chapter of Rambam, you say, wow, whoever put this together had a very orderly mind. And when we see the world, we say, wow, this surely has a great, tremendous creation. See the sun rising, what a revelation of the greatness of Hashem. And from there, we think about beyond that to even greater levels that we cannot perceive, but understand, which is the transcendent power of Hashem that gives life to all of the living things that we see. Where does their life come from? We see the living for the force of life pulsating through the universe. Where does it come from? It comes from a higher level of life. And where does that come from? That comes from what we'll call that essential life. Higher than both of the first two levels. Okay, when we think about these things, then that gives rise to feelings of, kindles the flames of love in the right side of our heart. Where and what do, how do we get mislahabas? Where does that occur? Belev maskilim, in the heart of intelligent people who think about their lives. Hamevinim, and understand and meditate, misboinim, they meditate Badaitam, with their quality of das. In other words, you have the idea, you develop it with all the details, and then you hold on to it with your das. You hold on to it, and that's called knowledge. With that, we come in contact with the greatness of Hashem. We perceive it. We relate to it to the degree we are capable of thinking about it and internalizing it. And that's called knowledge when our minds are united with this. But if our knowledge is not working, the quality of das, which is in the back of your brain, back here, the cranium, I think it's called the cranium, if that's not working, that's where the knot of the tefillin goes, you see. that the concepts from the right side of the brain, the ideas and the details from the left side of the brain, they have to be connected constantly. If they're not constantly connected, you're not focused on them, they disappear like a perfume in the air, like a vanity. But if you're focused on it, it remains real. If you're not focused on it, you're a dreamer. You just fool yourself. From time to time, you think about godliness, and the rest of the time you think about your appetites. Page 139. So the wise person thinks about godly concepts, the greatness of Hashem. That is the name of the concept. Thinking about the greatness of Hashem. Where do you see it? Look up in the sky. You'll see it. Look into your garden. You'll see it. Look into the life cycles of any creatures that you learned about in your botany classes, your biology classes. You'll see it. Think about it in physics. Think about it in chemistry. Think about it in mathematics. Think about it wherever you want to think. You'll perceive it. Because this is the DNA of the world. The world is created in an orderly way. It's not like the poet laureate of England said, the nature is red in tooth and claw. It's not. Human beings kill for fun. Animals don't kill for fun. Just like you go to the store and buy the food you need for supper. An animal kills for supper. That's all. Not for fun. And so when you perceive the greatness of Hashem, then you feel a love and attachment to it. You want to be connected with it. Like I said, sometimes you want to be on the winning team. Right, Chedwa? And you're here. You made it. Yeah, let's mark you as here. Chedwa Shagalov. Where's your name? Here it is. Shagalov.
I'm here.
Bina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were here yesterday too, right? Were you? Bina?
I'm here too, Rabbi.
Who's that?
Samantha Ruman.
Oh, woman. Yeah. Okay, good. We're on 139, girls. V'chein, middle of the page. Similarly, let's turn to a different emotion. Connected with love is joy. Someone said to me yesterday, Ki v'simcha seitzeyu, with feelings of joy we go out of all our troubles. Latzet means to go out. With simcha, we go out of all our troubles. This is the month of simcha. Misha nichnas Adar, when Adar comes in, marbin, we increase in simcha. V'chein simchas leivav, similarly, the simcha that we feel in our heart is prompted by our perception of the beauty of Hashem. You go to a beautiful symphony, a beautiful concert, and you feel happy. Makes you feel happy. You see a gymnast or someone doing something very exquisitely, a dancer, an exquisite dancer, and it makes you very happy to see the beauty, the orderliness, and the skill, and the movements, the music makes a person feel happy. Perceiving the beauty of what they're doing makes a person feel happy. And when we perceive the underlying beauty of things in in Hashem's creation, then that fills us also with simcha, with joy. Purim was such a time of joy because the Jews were under such terrible threat of total annihilation. And you have to read the Megillah. It's such an extraordinary story, best story ever written. How everything turned around. Whoa. Everything was turned around. And all the bad things turned into good things. And the villains were hoisted by their own petard. They were all hung on the gallows they made for others. In the most unexpected way. And it's so surprising. It's so unexpected. You turn around, when you perceive it, it fills you with happiness. And that's why Purim is the happiest holiday. The joy a person feels, but Tiferes Hashem, when he perceives the beauty of Hashem's creation and everything that Hashem makes. Hadar go'ine, how are we going to translate that? He says, Hadar is beauty, also beauty, like Hadar Torah across the road. The beauty of the Torah, he translates it here as the majesty. And go'ine, a go'in is the greatness. A go'in is a great sage, a genius. So these are terms referring, Hebrew language is much richer than English in describing the greatness of Hashem, spiritual qualities. When a person perceives, when you learn Torah and you see, you take an idea which seems like, oh, a nice idea, and you think about it a little deeper, you see some of the commentaries on it and some of the wisdom that it contains. And the idea is, oh, you didn't perceive these ideas at first, but then, oh yeah, of course, that's exactly true. That's true. That's there. Yes. And you perceive the depth of the idea that you're dealing with. And it's amazing. It's absolutely mind-boggling. It's so amazing that you say, wow, what a beautiful, beautiful Torah we have. Well, you know, one time I was at a Verbrengen, Yud Shvat Verbrengen, and a rabbi, I lived in England at that time before I came to America. And a friend and a teacher of mine, Rabbi Telsner, who's now the rabbi in Australia, chief rabbi in Melbourne, Australia, he pulled in from England, and since we were good friends, to get a place in the Verbrengen was very hard. And he was looking for a place, and it was squeezed. We were all squeezed in there, and I just moved a little bit and let him in beside me. And the Rebbe came in, and there were hundreds, thousands of Hasidim and hundreds of high-ranking shluchim and senators and politicians and business people, wealthy people, all who had come to honor the Rebbe on Yud Shvat. And the Rebbe came in so majestic, briskly, upbeat, took his place, pulled out the chair, sat down. Rabbi Telsner was standing beside me. He said, he says, there's no doubt about it. He said, we have a beautiful Mashiach. No doubt about it. We have a beautiful Mashiach. And when you learn Torah and you see the beauty in the ideas, then it awakens a joy in your heart that you're learning this. This is our Torah, your Torah. Hashem gave it to you because you have great gladness in your heart. When you perceive with your eyes, not your physical eyes, your mind's eye, which are in your head, because they're connected, your eyes are connected with your head, with the wisdom in your head, that the sages, the wise leaders of the Jewish people are called the eyes of the congregation. When you perceive with your mind's eyes, with the wisdom in your brain, and you develop this idea with understanding, you hold on to it, you develop it, you compare, you go deeply into it, you amplify it, you extend its scope and range. And with these intellectual qualities in the godly soul in your brain, mistaklim, and so to speak, with your mind's eyes, you gaze upon Yakara de Malka, the beauty of the king. Like you said, there's no doubt about it. We have a gorgeous Torah. We have a gorgeous Hashem. But Tiferes Gedulosei, and the beauty of his greatness and his majesty. Aden Cheker. Why do kings have beautiful garments and jewels? Beautiful things, because they represent majesty. The beauty of Hashem's majesty is represented on earth, reflected on earth in the majesty of a king. Yes. When the Alter Rebbe was in prison, one day the Tsar heard about how brilliant he was, and he wanted to see for himself. He disguised himself as an ordinary Russian official, member of the staff, came to see the Rebbe. And the Rebbe stood up and said, Your Majesty. He said, how do you know I'm Your Majesty? He says, because when you entered the room, I felt a fear fall upon me like I never felt in the presence of, and an awe in the presence of any other man. Because the kingdom of man on earth, which is represented in the kings of the nations, is a reflection of the kingship of Hashem, because that's where they get it from. So when they assassinated the Tsar and killed off the kings of Europe, I don't know who said it, one of the Hasidim leaders said, we lost a wonderful metaphor for understanding the kingship of Hashem. So when with the wise person with his wisdom gazes upon the glory of the king, which is without limit, without end, never get to the bottom of its depths or the end of its extent. Is explained elsewhere. Then it goes on in he sees the beauty of the king and the beauty of his unfathomable, infinite, boundless greatness. He was very rich in these terms. Then the heart rejoices and is glad, as explained elsewhere. See, I told you, this is a beautiful chapter. It's like it's an ode to joy. We're going to have to stop here today. It's a good place to start. I'll just sum up the last line of this whole section. Similarly, other holy midas that are in the heart, they also derive from the qualities of Chachma and Bina in the brain, and Das, which are in the brain. Okay, we'll continue from there. Please God, tomorrow, 8:30, please join us. Thank you, everybody. I recommend, by the way, that you start a routine every day for 5 or 10 minutes of trying to memorize what we learn. If you can do it in Hebrew, good. If not, then do it in English. If you can't do it in English, do it in Spanish. If you're from Brazil, like Miss Rappaport, you can do it in Portuguese.
Rabbi, do you know the Tanya song?
The what?
The Tanya song
No.
that all of the kids, when they're 6, they learn it, where their teacher gives them a little recording, and it's memorizing the first words of Tanya, and it's all through Tanya, in a song, and they use different them throughout.
What a good idea.
It's pretty cool. I don't know, one of my kids just brought it home from school, and he wanted to learn how to play it on the piano. Pretty cool.
And then it's in, because the songs
Rabbi
you
Pape.
use in your youth, they're forever.
Rabbi Pape,
Good morning.
so are you saying that we should literally open up the Tanya and just memorize the words in it for 5 or 10 minutes?
Yeah, every day. And when you learn 3 words, then you review them so you can learn 5 words. And when you learn a line, then you review it. And
Have you
learn 2 lines?
memorized? Have you memorized the full Tanya?
We're not going to get personal.
Okay.
There are people who, yes. My teacher, Rabbi Pinya Korf, passed away just recently from the corona. When he was given the corona shot, then he went downhill. He was doing okay till they vaccinated him. He knew the whole Tanya by heart, the whole Tanya, and he worked hard. He worked hard. It's hard work. It's a lot of work. In the days of the Talmud, when the Talmud was being put together, the sages didn't write anything down. They memorized, they took notes, then they destroyed their notes. It's called the oral Torah because people knew it orally, by heart. Then the Torah becomes engraved in your brain. It becomes part of you. No one can take it away from you. You go in the subway, and the world is going crazy all in the whole car, and you're sitting there, and you think about the things that you know by heart. In the days of old, the sages, a regular Torah student used to learn a Mishnah. Remember in class number 1, Mishnah is knowledge nuggets, little paragraphs chock full of information. And they would learn these Mishnayos 100 times. 100 times. Try it. Take a line, a verse of Torah, a line of the Tanya, learn it 100. As you walk from one place to the other, you have 10 fingers. So learn it once, say it once for each of your 10 fingers. And then you got 1 finger. And then say it again 10 times on each of your 10 fingers. Now you have 2. When you have 10 times 10, you know it. That's how it works. And if after 10 times 10 you don't know it, then you do it again. The story about that too, Reb Sheshes and the student who couldn't learn.
Was it 103?
What?
Was it 103?
He learned 500 times with the student. Have a good day, girls. Enjoy the nice weather. But don't go out without a cold. Without a coat, you'll catch a cold.
Morning. How are you? How was your class? Good. How was your night?